Welcome to this tutorial on the brainstorming process, brought to you by the Gaston College Writing Center. We will be discussing specific techniques you can use to brainstorm for your college writing assignment. But first, let's talk about what brainstorming is. A brainstorm is a sudden idea that can be temporarily unclear or confusing. Picture those storm clouds rolling in with a strong wind blowing up some dust, and you'll have an idea of what is going on in your mind during the brainstorming process. Brainstorming ideas for your essay or research paper is a rapid process where you are gaining sudden insight or expressing inspiration. You are allowed to be random. Let those ideas flow freely. There is not one right way to brainstorm, and it is not limited to one stage of the writing process. You can use brainstorming techniques to define a topic for your paper, generate an example to support your claim, or even come up with a title for a finished paper. Often, the hardest part of writing is simply getting started. Brainstorming helps move you past that temporary block. Some writers do just fine with keeping all their thoughts organized in their minds, but most of us need to write out our ideas during the brainstorming stage in order to better evaluate and organize the ideas. Let's look at some specific brainstorming techniques, and then we'll talk briefly about what to do with the ideas you generate. Listing, free writing, mapping or clustering, and asking reporters questions are all techniques to brainstorm ideas. Listing is an effective way to brainstorm. Launch your thoughts with a key word or phrase, like social media, for example, if you are brainstorming for a topic, or social media's influence on how the public gets its news, if you need specifics. Set a time limit. 10 minutes should be enough for such intense thinking. Now rapidly list words and brief phrases that you associate with your topic. Don't stop the process. Don't overthink. Don't worry about spelling, repetition, or the quality of your ideas. Each idea you generate may not be useful, but write it down anyway. It may inspire the next useful idea. Similarly, in the brainstorming technique of free writing, you'll want to set a timer and write without stopping. Instead of single words or phrases, you may generate a paragraph or two during the free writing process. Sometimes free writing is useful if you have some ideas, but you need to explore them further. You may have already thought about what you have read, heard, or observed about your topic, or the perspective another person may have on your topic. Write a sentence or two at the top of your page expressing the main idea you want to develop. Now, explore without censoring yourself. Don't cross out sentences or correct grammar. Don't worry about connecting ideas or finding the perfect word. Allow your words to flow and head in new directions. Mapping or clustering is another brainstorming technique. You can create a map or cluster on a piece of paper, a whiteboard, a large notepad, or sticky notes stuck to a wall. Allow for space for your map or cluster to develop. Begin with a topic or key idea. Use your imagination, class notes, or class readings to add related ideas, examples, issues, or questions. As your map or cluster evolves, use lines, arrows, or circles to connect ideas. In thinking of our social media example from earlier, we may begin to see that useful for keeping up with friends, time-consuming, and gossip are ideas that relate to the personal use of social media. If you are using sticky notes, you could use different colors to organize. Blue for problems, pink for solutions, and orange for application of the solutions. Move the sticky notes around and draw arrows as you begin to connect ideas. If you need to implement research into your essay, it may be helpful to ask and answer more in-depth questions during the brainstorming process. These are often referred to as reporters' questions. For example, who was Nelson Mandela? What led to him being the president of South Africa? Where did he serve his prison term? When was he imprisoned? Why was he imprisoned? How did his government contribute to the dismantling of institutional racism and foster racial reconciliation? Answering these questions might require you to do more research. In doing more research, you might find that you need to take a different approach than you first envisioned. That is a natural part of the process. Brainstorming may lead to research, which may lead to more brainstorming, which may lead to writing, which may lead to more research. After you have brainstormed ideas, it is time to begin focusing and organizing those ideas. This is the stage of the process where you will evaluate each idea, crossing out irrelevant ideas and drawing connections between other ideas. If we consider our earlier example of social media, We may discard the ideas of keeping up with friends and producing poor writers. We may narrow our focus down to Facebook and see that there is a connection between information sharing within the business world and ethical concerns. Now we have an interesting topic to explore further. It may be time for more reading and thinking, but the process of brainstorming has sparked an idea that we can carry forward.